welcome to the roadshow for the XR program by Meta and MSH that's being done in partnership with 4 institutions across the country, and we are happy that IIIT Hyderabad is one of the partners for the program. We have here with us 2 great friends of the institute, Imtiaz and Rajat Ojha, both very, very well known in the gaming space, in the city, outside the city, and even outside the country as well. We're happy to have them here. Both of them are great friends of the Hyderabad startup industry on one side, as well as basically the gaming industry, and I'm always happy to meet you. So thanks, Imtiaz and Rajat again. Can we just set the stage? Each of you, quickly describe what is XR, what is Meta, and how does XR lead to Meta? Maybe Rajat, if you could go first.
Yeah, sure. So, especially because we have a metaverse, and proving the point everywhere right now that it's here to stay. So, for us, it's very simple. XR, decentralization, and video game industry, especially the tech. When these 3 things come together, the magic happens, and the magic is metaverse. So that's precisely what we are doing, and that's what I think my version of metaverse is. It has to be on the decentralization part. It has to have the XR angle in some way or the other, and of course, video game tech, because it's a 3D immersive world where you actually go into and change yourself into something else. So
Imtiaz, you come from the gaming world more directly.
Yes.
How does gaming kind of lead itself into XR is already there, immersive games. How does it lead into Meta?
Yeah. So, firstly, happy Dussehra to all of the people who are attending and here, and thanks for having me. And it's so funny that everyone has their own definition for metaverse, right? You come up with a different definition. I come up with a different. AI has a different definition everywhere, right? Similarly, metaverse has its own definition, and people are looking at gaming as a very core component of the entire metaverse. Metaverse is nothing but a virtual world where you can actually have various activities that goes on with your daily lives that you're gonna do that create that into the virtual world, right? Now, what you do in your daily life? You watch movies. You do banking, you do shopping, right? That has come together into a form of a metaverse, right? So that's the definition of metaverse, and very likely, like Rajat said, then it's going to be decentralized, and a lot of information that would be captured there would be very, it would have a lot of privacy there, and you don't have to worry much about it. And more importantly, you can sit at home and also do all the stuff which you can literally do, right? And the social component is very critical. And all these technologies, right, XR, gonna make it more immersive. Imagine the experience on steroids, right? And it's gonna be in a different league altogether, right? So that's gonna happen there. So I would say that. Yeah, I would say it's more of a -1, right? I mean, that's when it started off, right? One of the things that I'm really excited about is how the hardware is changing, how hardware is getting optimized. No, things have changed. More optimized hardware, and you can actually have this onto your spectacles and play things and work around. Yeah, absolutely, it's going to happen really. And imagine 5G going to change that dramatically, right? The technology, no lag, no latency, and it's happening. This is happening. And one last point before I pass on, the folks who are looking at it, since the IIT here is focusing primarily on the gaming. Gaming is a huge industry, guys, and gaming is bigger than OTT, movies, music industry put together. That's the capacity that gaming brings in, right? It's over $150 billion, but other forms of entertainment is like just $120 billion, right? Just gaming itself. So imagine if you're going to get this immersive experience into the XR. It's going to be different league altogether, yeah.
Yeah, it's very clearly, I see it as the Gen Alpha's operating system. That's what the metaverse is going to be, because especially, I keep talking about it. Initially we were talking about how metaverse is the new internet, but I think it's evolving at far more faster pace, and especially we are also witnessing the same thing on our platform and everywhere else also, all the, friends in the metaverse circle, and especially, so that's what you do, when you, switch on your phone, your WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, watch movies, YouTube, Tinder probably, and all Netflix and all those kind of consumption, and games, right? You play games. So so imagine all of these things are already being done inside metaverse. There is a thriving community of people going there, community, like, four of us decide to go and watch a movie. We go to the Airtel Metaplex and we just watch a movie together. I pause the movie, it pauses for my friends. So there's a whole community angle of, this thing. So I think, this is where the digital natives. We are the immigrants in the digital world, right? But they are the digital natives. So they are going to live there, and not just live. So the reason I keep talking about decentralization, and there is a Metaverse Standard Forum. We are part of that as well. So there is a definition now being aligned, very clearly. So the decentralization, the reason I keep talking about, since you are digital native, you live there in the metaverse and all those things. Won't you want to earn within that platform itself? Won't you want to create things there itself and sell, trade, and do all of it? And that's what is already happening. People are doing it. It just needs to continue to, multiply. Already it's happening in that direction. STC has launched a phone which is metaverse phone, the Desire Pro, and there's a large electronic giant working towards making their device, metaverse. The minute you switch it on, you get in the metaverse, and from there you decide whether you're going to watch a movie, you're going to go shopping, you're going to go and play some games with your friends. Every game you play in a metaverse is by default a multiplayer, because there are people around you. And as we say, like Road Rash and all those games like we used to play back those games were single player, but still multiplayer, because 5 people standing behind you and do this, and all those kind of things used to happen. That's precisely what is happening in metaverse today. It's completely immersed. You're part of that whole world. So I think the vision is very clear. Whatever you do right now is going to happen inside metaverse, and that's the Gen Alpha is going to do. We are coming with 20,000 stores mall in November itself, and not just us, like Walmart is already there. There are so many organizations they are selling. In fact, as a matter of fact, Nike store in metaverse has more return of customer than their physical stores. And that's all already happening, right? 21 million people coming in, right?
If I'm in the metaverse Nike store, I can go inside the shoe and see how the shoe looks.
The virtual try-ons, right? You try things and you call Imtiaz, hey, how am I looking? Cool, let me just go ahead and buy it. Instead of, just seeing some photographs on Amazon and all that kind of thing, it's much more immersive. You see, you try, you invite your friends, instead of sending, a pic from the mirror or something like that in the trial room, you just invite and see how am I looking, and they just give you a thumbs up and you just go ahead and buy. And that's precisely is happening.
I would see this as a moment of if I'm not exaggerating, it can be a UPI moment for gaming, right? In terms of, how people change the way they're gonna act, play games, right? Or I would say that there's gonna be more like, a kind of when App Store was launched, right? When you have this one place where you can download all the content, right? So this is how you have to look at it, right? I would say that identify those staple games, right? The games that would be played by everyone. You don't have to be necessarily doing those heavy meta, heavy asset games where it can be a virtual pool. You have a pool table and you go and start playing pool with your friends, right? It can be as simple as that. So we have to look at from an aspect where it's gonna be staple, it's gonna be sticking around on the charts for very long.
Now coming to what we do, imagine we're working with 3 banks. Banks are like, very traditional and all those things. That's how we at least see them, right? And especially, some of the Indian bank, but one of the largest American bank is also working with us. Now, what is the appetite for them to actually get into the XR or the possibilities of that? Because there are certain things which they had been trying so hard to convince people for, especially insurances and stuff like that, the education about insurances, and they were not getting the right kind of result. The induction training program was always a unidirectional program for them, right? Things are being told, your participation and other things never mattered. But now with all these kind of, XR possibilities, and one of the biggest thing is the foveated rendering, where you are looking at inside VR, right, is another thing which we can track today, right, which actually gives another layer of data analytics, right, how you can actually profile your users and all. So pretty much banks, hospitals, was that? Lovely. Yeah, absolutely. All of these guys, every single vertical. And as you talked about education, right, instead of talking about heart, how this heart functions. Now, I'll literally take you inside the heart and explain the things over there. It's all happening to you. The single word to explain virtual reality or extended reality is presence. You know, you feel that you are present there, what's happening. And especially in defense, I think Indian defense literally thrives on XR today.
So what is important in gaming is the engagement. If the content is not fun, even if you do this amazing artwork around, and if it's not fun, it's not engaging enough, there's no fun to it, right? I mean, there is no, I would have no retention on the game. So that is the factor that you have to look at.
What is the epitome of a technology? I don't know, like how I see it. When technology becomes invisible completely, you don't even realize that you are actually part of a technology. Keep talking about 3 use cases in metaverse especially, you know, and in every world, every new technology revolution, this happens. First abuse happens, then misuse happens, and then use cases, actual use happens. So the cycle will continue, you know. So the abuse, misuse and use cycle will continue to happen. And once the whole thing the storm will settle down and all those things.
So a lot of people are looking at healthcare, not just healthcare, but also the fitness vertical too, right? You can imagine you are in the metaverse and running with someone else, right? There's a motion to it, and the motion has been captured. And I'm running at a speed of like 3 kilometers per hour, and I have a buddy next to me, or just was like Rajat coming in from the back, and you know, you're running together. So all this is possible. So there is, and you gamify it, saying that, hey, Imtiaz, you are coming like every 5 days in a week. Then you should actually be rewarded with some form of a currency. And I don't know, you know, there is some form of, I mean, it can be so there can be multiple ways we can handle this, right? If you're tracking motion if it's a motion of an avatar, there's a different view to it. If in the motion of a human who is actually part of the metaverse, there's a hardware that goes on top of it, right? So, and you control it. So there are various methods.
So, and there are a lot of things, you know, which you probably won't do for various reasons, because so in fact, we are doing a campaign with one of the flagship brand about menstrual issues and stuff like that. So the thing is that people are usually not very comfortable talking about it in front of others, right? But in metaverse, since you are an avatar, your identity is protected, right? And you'll be speaking with 6 of the top psychologists in the world, and you'll be talking and talking about all your things and stuff. Pillsbury, which is one of the largest legal organizations, they set up their office now, and they're working towards bringing the laws and other things and stuff. And every entity is coming. And I talked about like when banks are coming, hospitals are coming. I'm 100% sure that there'll be a lot of privacy issues which are already there, harassment issues and all those things. And there has to be a regulation, there has to be some way, sensibility and sanity check. So that definitely there's going to be policing, there's going to be, right now, at this moment, it's a wild west.
One of the forms that Baiju serves is a lot of digital gaming content, right? That's how they try to educate. I have my kids watching a lot of digital content. I have my kids who are actually playing digital content and learning math, right? Everyone is doing the weirdest things, right? People are doing the fishing. People doing, I saw this person creating educational tools where literally it's going to help, right? And for me, things like something like what you said about the brain, right? And someone who actually has is literally getting that brain thing. With terms of XR and AR especially, I'm super excited about it, right? You have headsets that comes on and you try to navigate through all the lanes without worrying anything about it, right? That's going to be like your easy day-to-day lifestyle, right? That's going to be like super thing. And last comment would be like more like, never been so excited about the space. Like I said, 5G is coming. Then you also have this, hardwares that are getting optimized, affordable, optimized, coming here. So and technology is growing, and all the programmable AI, ML coming in, and part of this entire metaverse. Everything's gonna be like together. It's gonna be a fun place to be in, nice place to start. Age is right for you guys, and I think you should start, venturing out on.